Hey bookish friends. So this week I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. So yes, the video is a little bit late. Sorry. But I did want to live vlog my reading of House of Sky and Breath. So I read the first Crescent City book back when it came out, which was like, I don't know, in the spring of like 2020, I think. So it was like a long time ago. So much has changed in the world since then that I basically had to go back and like reread it. And I was seeing like a few people posting about stuff leading up to it and was like not remembering like what was going on. I did reread Crescent City, cried, like even though I knew what was coming, cried multiple times. And I finished it up this weekend. So I went out to the store like immediately afterwards. Sunday night, and I bought House of Sky and Breath, and I did start it. So I feel a little bit bad about starting this vlog, even though I'm already like, I don't know, 250 pages like into this book. But also at the same time, I don't feel so bad because like literally nothing has happened. I have some thoughts about what I've read so far. If you want to see, like, this is about where I am. The prologue itself, I thought was like so long. Like I remember reading it and being like, I think maybe also just because I just finished like House of Earth and Blood, I was like ready to kind of like dive in, and was really thrown off by this like 10-page introduction or like prologue that was unrelated to, you know, like what we had been reading so far. Like it was completely random as like a new reader, all new characters. You're seeing like the rebel forces and like this girl who, you know, is like a new character, and she becomes like a central plot point of like the next book, what happens to her at like the end of the prologue. And I was just like, I don't know, I was just like so thrown off because it just lasted so long. I feel like a prologue, I'm used to it being like, I don't know, 3 pages or something, and then you like get right back into it. So like that was a little bizarre. It was also strange, like diving into like the actual book, that there was like another like time jump, which was like, you know, I guess in the first one, she also has like the 2-year time jump between like the events of the beginning and then, you know, like a few little bits later to show like, you know, to gloss over like the recovery. I feel like it seems a little bit strange that like they do have these random 3 months to themselves, but also like nothing happens. Literally everything is still the same. Bryce and Hunt, despite having like told each other that they love each other and like gone to the end of the earth, etc., like are still not calling each other like boyfriend and girlfriend, even though they live together. Super strange. Don't understand what's going on there. Felt really bizarre. And I kind of like don't understand why their relationship wouldn't have changed like after life-threatening events. So that's the first part of the book. Moving to like the new main characters, I would say, so Therion from the first book is, you know, like more of the main character now. I feel like I'm liking him. I feel like he is a little bit flat of a character like as of right now, but I can see like how he could get better like in the future. And then there's obviously tons of talk about Emile and Sophie, who are the two rebel human Thunderbirds, they're called, that they're trying to like find. And so I feel like that has been interesting as well, although they are not like characters in the book so far. They're just like being talked about. And I guess like the last big new character is Cormac, who is like a fairy prince, but from like another fae family or like royal family. I feel like he also is kind of being used as like a plot device to explain like more of her starborn power, which I feel like I'm pretty curious about just because it was such like a small kind of thing that was thrown in at the end of the book, the last book, and not really had the chance to like explore since it was part of like the climax. So I'm interested to see like where that goes. Finally, maybe like 200 pages in, got to what this book will actually be about, which is the hunt for Sophie and Emile. Mainly Emile, just because he's like the child who is defenseless and stuff. And this is bringing up like a lot of information or a lot of emotional struggle of Bryce, because she's realizing that Danica might have might have been in contact with like the rebel forces, and at the very least like with Sophie as she was trying to find her brother, like Emile. So I mean, like, yes, Danica has more secrets. Like, she's still like a major part of like the story, which is also, I don't know, it seems like boring because it already happened. Oh, and I guess the last main difference is that Ethan, who is like Connor's brother, he is more of like a main part of this as well. He comes to stay like with Bryce after like the fallout of his choosing to like defend her at the end of Crescent City 1. Is Packless, shows up on her doorstep, and she of course like takes him in. All of their, their past is like forgiven, and he's kind of left like navigating her as like a new person versus like the person that he knew from like 5 years ago, since they were such close friends like back in the day. So I feel like I am very interested to see like where his storyline goes. I think mainly because he seems to be the one who has like the least certain future. Oh yes, and we also figure out, I just read this part last night, but we just figured out that Cormac, the Fae prince who is engaged to like Bryce, or betrothed to Bryce if you want to be like more specific about it, he basically just revealed that he is Silverbow, who is one of like the rebel captains, I guess, for lack of like knowing his actual rank. But he was in the prologue, and it's basically insinuated that he's in love with Sophie from the prologue. And then they basically confirm it when he reveals that the real reason that he is in Crescent City is not because he wanted to announce his betrothal and meet Bryce. It's actually because he is undercover, like from both like his family and like the government realm that he's a part of, and also the rebel cause. He's been looking for Sophie, who they think has escaped. I don't know, things have been going well, I would say. It's keeping me interested, but at the same time, it is falling a little bit short of what I was expecting. I think mainly because I was expecting it to just kind of like hop in, and it has not. It's been like a very slow like ramp up, but I'm just like so over like the romantic tension like as a main plot point of this book. And I will see you later when I continue reading more. Hi everyone, so I'm back. It's the same day, but just in the evening. I went out roller skating and came back, changed into my sweats, and I am ready to pick up reading. I read a little bit outside today because it's actually like 65 degrees out, like randomly. And I live in Massachusetts, so unexpected weather for this time of year, and I was taking advantage of it, picking right up where I left off. The main reason I wanted to like hop on is like I am so confused by like Celestina and what is happening with her. Just as Hunt is like starting to think about rebelling again, like he realizes that like not all archangels are bad, and like he had all these thoughts about like Sandriel's old Triari, and like one of them like doesn't seem so bad, I guess, like Bastion. Just he might have like a conscience that like Hunt apparently didn't know about, even though he swears that they've been like rebels this whole time. Not sure if I'm buying it yet. We'll see. I think like mainly because it doesn't like there's no one to like back up like either person's story. Celestina gives him like this sob story about how she has been like she was secret friends with Sahara, which like okay. There is definitely like more to the story. And I hope that Hunt does not get taken in. I love both Rune and Ethan like so much. They're just so cute. I want the best for them. Okay. Heading into part 2, featuring Hans. I'm listening to audiobooks while he works out. Like, of course, we have to have a whole maid thing because this is a Sarah J. Maas book, and that's the only way. It was a long time coming, considering how far I am into this book. Before they are like official, and even though we've sacrificed our life for each other, offered to sell oneself into slavery for the other person. I'm glad that they finally said, I love you. Ugh. Hey, so it's Friday. Currently we're having a blizzard. LOL. So it was 65 on Monday. No, it was 65 on Wednesday, and now we're expected to get 7 inches of snow. It's fine. Catch you up on what's been going on. But Danica's father was revealed as being the head of the pack that helps the Hind, so bad people. Oh, hello, Gretel. And so that was interesting, and it tells you a lot about her secret bloodhound power and how no one knew. It was something she kept secret, partially because maybe she is ashamed of her relationship to her dad as well. But of course Ethan knew. Oh, speaking of Ethan, it was kind of revealed, although it was pretty obvious beforehand, but before they called it out, but that he was has been kind of into Bryce the whole time. Big surprise, as I mentioned. Bryce and Hunt got stuck in the bone quarter. They basically revealed that all the people who die have to essentially get dissolved and their energy is absorbed back into the grid, which I mean, but was a little bit sad, I think, for people who had been thinking that the pack of devils and etc. had been able to live in peace in some kind of afterlife. At the same time, it also means that Bryce didn't really trade away anything. I mean, you win and you lose, I guess, in that instance. Hunt was able to use his own self as a conduit, and then use Bryce. Bryce was also able to use his power and funnel it into the Star Sword, and then allowing them to escape, and her to kill more wraiths and demons, etc. So she's definitely gaining power over what would be the House of Flame and Shadow, I guess, which seems to be the most immortal out of everyone, just because some of them are already dead. So interesting, I guess. Yeah, I would say it's starting to heat up. I am liking where things are going. I'm definitely enjoying the new powers, uncovering what the Star Sword and all of this stuff is going to produce in the long run. And all the bad guys just showed up. The other Triari has arrived for the mating ceremony, so that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so I just finished the chapter on the Mystics, which I feel first of all reminded me so much of the end of the Throne of Glass series. I won't say anymore because of that, just in case no one has read it, but why I love fantasy books and their ability to make commentary on a lot of political and social issues as well, just because it's not as touchy because it's a fantasy realm. It was really cool to see how she's making a commentary on slavery and forced economic status, and how people with less economic standing are kind of forced to make decisions of their own free will. And then also to have Ethan go back and choose to free the sprites, and then also realize that one of the Mystics is actually a wolf. So cool. I already love this storyline, and I need him to figure out a way to rescue her, discover that she's actually 200 years old and is from the line of that Danica was researching back in the library. She's actually higher than time, and uprooting the whole structure. That would be amazing. I'm very here for it. It has happened. Oh, okay. I can see Bryce teleporting now. All right. Noted. Okay, so I've been reading. I think that I appreciate the twist of Emile not having any powers. That feels cool. Just and a good, it was a good twist. Nice way to shake things up. the part about like the Viper Queen, I could see how it was happening. It was honestly very like Aelin-like, Throne of Glass like, to have like Bryce like not telling anyone like what she's doing and then have it all managed to work out. Classic. Okay, so post party, like mating celebration party or whatever. Okay, so originally I'd been thinking that day was Hypaxia. I feel like it made sense, like her being like a witch, like part of like being like part of the House of Sky and Breath, like didn't quite make sense, but I don't know, she has that weird thing with like being taught by the necromancers. And so you're like, okay, I could see it. And she's like very out of touch, is based out of like somewhere, you know, like far away. I forget the name of the place. So I feel like it could work. But then after the party, when they revealed like that the person that she like is like secretly dating is actually Celestina, LOL. Then I knew it couldn't be her. So this is making me think, and Lord help me if I'm wrong. And I'm putting it out there. But I think that I think it's the Hind. Just because like she knows that they could be working with the rebels and has chosen not to do anything about it. She has a terrible reputation, but has also been like completely like barely present throughout this entire book. And every time that they have shown her like doing something bad, it's like they're also letting you know that both the Harpy and Pollux are like also there. So like they could be the ones that are like bad, and then she is the good one. But it also explains the whole like mysteriousness of Sophie's death. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. Okay. Being completely transparent, like I am having difficulty following the storyline of like the whole Brothers of Hell, like Circles of Hell, Levels of Hell, something around there. Like, and the fact that it's like, I don't know, like they're demons, but I'm not really sure like how they're relating to like the angels. And like normally if there's both like demons and angels, like there is a very clear distinction of like why, like how the two are related, like that has some kind of like root in religion, and it's just like not happening here. I don't know, like how they're related to like the history of things and like how this relates to like Luna's horn. Like I don't know, it's getting a little bit tenuous, all right? And I'm not seeing all of the connections that I think I should be able to. Oh god, Danica is literally the worst. Like I don't understand how this girl kept so many secrets. Baxter just revealed that he's been like mated to her for this whole time, like 2 years or whatever. That like Bryce is like, oh yeah, looking back, I guess that like, she like didn't really like sleep with anyone else, even though that's totally bizarre and I probably should have noticed because it was so unlike her. It's like, okay, first of all, how are you like so oblivious to like your best friend who you live with and have lived with for like years? Granted, like we've decided that like Bryce, like Danica's main characteristic is that she's like a secret keeper and like a liar and a good liar. But also like it just sucks that like literally we're still like most of this book is just like revealing that like Danica knows everything and Bryce is just like slowly finding it out. Like continuously for 1,600 pages. Oh my god. Rune, though? I can't believe he's been here, like, all night. Okay. Alright. I feel like one of the main things I'm confused about in this book, like, the most is that, like, why are they rebels? Why are they so apathetic as rebels? Why do they, like, not really care about the cause of the rebels, yet they're willing to risk, like, their lives, like, on this, like, potential suicide mission, like, into, like, the big city archive or whatever, like, just to figure out, like, what's going on. Like, I don't understand how you can be half a rebel. Like, they're so disorganized and also impulsive, and they don't have any of the strong convictions that would make them want to be impulsive about something that is so life-threatening. So yeah, they're basically heading into the archive now. They've created some like crazy plan involving like sabotaging the actual rebels who like they don't like even though they agree with the reason for the rebels, like they don't agree with their methods. And it's like, you know, I don't know, I feel like you can't really criticize if you don't have like another solution. Yeah, they're gonna like have some distraction, and then they're gonna like teleport in, try and find like the room that like Sophie died trying to get into, or died right after she got into it, so to speak. Figure out like what Danica's been hiding this whole time, her and her like mysterious historical research projects, like for her like history major that apparently everyone was confused that she had. I don't know. The secrets of Danica continue. Okay, big reveal. That the Asteri like basically run off of First and Second Light, and they have been bringing people, like bringing various creatures like over to this one realm because they're good at giving them enough First Light in order to live, and this planet itself was like good for habitation. What is Sarah J. Maas's thing with like different realms? Like, I feel like it's a thread in like all of her books, and so like it's just a little, I don't know, it's like I'm having like a bit of deja vu like as I'm reading it, because you're like, oh, okay, she's using like the same kind of like lore like to back up all of her stories. But all right, big reveal. I'm surprised. Did not see that coming like at all. And it does explain why everyone was having such a strong reaction like when they did figure it out. I feel like this book is just starting to heat up, and we only have like 50 pages left. So also, like, what were we doing for the first 700? Okay, I'm done. Oh my god. Literally, what was the end? All right, first off, I was right about the end, which I feel really cool about. I wish that there was more of like a reveal situation, and that, I don't know, I guess it's like, it's kind of rough that she, I don't know, the things weren't blown up so much that she was still trying to like not compromise like her cover, and so you didn't really get like the full breadth of like what she could have done. The Asteri being like, yeah, we knew you were coming here like the whole time, and we're just, you know, we needed you to get here so that we can use the horn, etc. And you reveal that, like, I don't know, like the Brothers of Hell or whatever, they're like not so bad as like everyone thought, and they are actually like supposed to be allied with like the Starborn people, which, like, I don't know, that doesn't feel like fleshed out enough for me at this point. I feel like I'm very confused about like the Hell portion of this book, and still am. Also, the other thing I'm confused about is like at the end of House of Earth and Blood, there was the whole the final like scene was like Jessica like talking to one of the Princes of Hel, and I feel like Jessica was like kind of a part of this book, but like only as like a random like resource, and I was expecting her to be like more of a part of it, and she like was not, aside from like a few snarky like phone calls where she was like, why are you calling me? We're not friends. Which like I appreciate, but also I would have appreciated more from her, I think. And I thought that she was like more part of the fold than she actually is. So that seemed like a little bit bizarre. But I'm sure it was something that will be fleshed out in like book 3. Another thing that like the next thing I feel like that I have to talk about, the realm jumping. Okay. Literally going into it, I was like, realm jumping reminds me of Throne of Glass, right? The like final books or whatever are like starting to talk about like various realms, etc. And so I couldn't like get that connection like out of my head. But then like you read the end of this one, and all of a sudden like she is in like Valeris. It's probably because like they have like the older character there, like Amryn would be able to like talk to her or something, or she would like be able to make the connections. So maybe it just has to do with like the character setup is better for her to get there. It was not the association that I made first, which makes me think that if she's going to connect if she's going to connect like the ACOTAR world with this world, then she's also going to connect the Throne of Glass world, because I can't see how she would not. I don't know, because it was like, I feel like it's not the one that's as connected, and so she would just have to do both. I don't know. I feel like I'm not on board with it. I'm not on board with it. It just feels like so gimmicky, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was a fairly decent read. It wasn't terrible, but at the same time, I think like the pacing was like super bizarre. It was way too long. Like, there was no reason for it to be as long as it was. Like, there was so much that was just like filler, or like it didn't really go with like the central themes of like what I was expecting it to. I feel like the book went in like way too many different directions. And it seemed like very similar in a lot of like main themes to House of Earth and Blood. But at the same time, like, I don't know, there was so many new random like characters and like plot points that got added, even though like all the tensions in the relationships were like the same. I don't know, not enough like romantic scenes that were not like, I don't know. Like, there was nothing like tender. There was like spicier scenes, and then there was like lots of nothing. And like there wasn't enough of them just being like, I don't know, cute together, which I feel like was a part of the first one. It was just like severely lacking in this one. Mainly, I'm talking about like Bryce and Hunt. But I would say like a big shining star goes toward like the characters of like Brune and Ethan, I think, who I like really liked in this one. Like, this book made me like them like so much more as characters. And I'm really excited to see like where their storylines go like in the future. But I am largely like uninterested, or I'm like definitely not as gripped, like in like the Bryce and Danica dynamic, or like, I don't know. I'm not very interested in this like potential crossover situation. It just like feels super weird to me coming back to that. And honestly, I'm very disappointed that I like did not cry in this one. Like, that feels like a loss. There wasn't even anything that was like remotely sad. Expecting my heartstrings to be tugged a little bit more than they were, and I did not shed one tear. I would say for books that I spent like 2 years anticipating, like this really fell short for me. But at the same time, if I compare it to like a bunch of other things I've read, like I would probably say it was, you know, like still like a decent like 4-star read. Oh yeah, there's Colonel. It was still like a good read, but it was just like, from what I've come to expect, and like as a book that I have already like know all the characters for, like I'm just severely underwhelmed by it. But by no means like will I stop reading the series or like not recommend it to people because I didn't like the second book. Because I often don't like the second book, like in many things. I feel like it's just, they're hard to pull off. Harder than the ending, like arguably. Overall, fairly decent, but from what I've come to expect, I fell a little bit short of my expectations. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and thank you for coming along on this journey. I honestly, I have difficulty with these like reading vlog things, so hopefully this is all right. I'm gonna try and do more in the future, and I think like as I do more of them, maybe I'll get like a little bit more comfortable, or have like a better stride in terms of like how I break it down and stuff. Or like have some more structure might be like a good thing. I hope you liked it. Please, if you liked it, like, comment your thoughts, like on the book as well. Conspiracy theories, etc. And yeah, I'll see you next week.